New York is a pretty crappy place to live, with the various crackheads around every corner and burning chairs. But somehow, Alone in the Dark, the 2008 reboot, managed to capture the true New York lifestyle.
A public restroom.
Released to abysmal ratings, Alone in the Dark is one of those games that was quickly forgotten as the years went on, but the other day, I had a dream. I had a nightmare about playing the demo for this game back when I was a kid. So because I suck at financial decisions, I picked up the limited edition version for the 360 just to make a video on it.
I don't have your stone.
Straying far away from the usual polygon style survival horror game Alone in the Dark was known for, this 2008 reboot was way too ambitious for its own good. But was it really as bad as they say? Let's find out. Copyright music intro, yeah. As the game starts, we wake up in the daze barely able to see and overhearing some bloke talk about cracks.
Those cracks, they came.
Then the guy picks us up, giving us a nice view of our pixelated crotch. It's bigger than mine. He then asks us to look at him and shines a literal flashlight in our eyes. Like, damn, you wanna blind me or something? Wait, what is that? A blink mechanic in a video game? Yeah, it turns out SCP isn't the only game with a blink mechanic, and Alone in the Dark 08 beat it to the punch. You'll come to find out that this game is the true innovator of modern gaming. We proceed to blink like a maniac, considering if you don't blink in this section, you can't see jack all. Some old dude then calls out our name. Edward. No, not that Edward. Edward Carnby. So yeah, this game actually does connect to the previous games in the franchise, with Edward being the same protagonist in all of the games. Yeah, even that one, but I want to forget that one, which makes him over 100 years old. This is what he looked like before, and this is what he looks like now. He must have spent a lot of rupees on some Botox, because damn, he looks good for his age. Mr. Old Dude then gets brutally disrespected.
Who said you could talk?
Then out of nowhere, a bald guy shows up, one of the scariest beings in existence, and it turns out they're here to endgame us for whatever reason, but that will get clearer to us as the story goes on. The evil mastermind orders Mr. Scoff?
Mr. Scoff.
I don't know what kind of name that is, to take us up to the roof and put us out of our misery. But if you've ever played a video game in your life, you know it's not going to be that simple. Mr. Scoff orders us to go left. But because I don't know my lefts and my rights, I keep walking forward.
Don't you ever. Take him to the...
After reluctantly following orders, Mr. Cough opens up the door to the stairwell like a true gentleman. What a nice guy. Hopefully he doesn't get killed. So yeah, one of the main enemies in this game are cracks. No, seriously, cracks. Cracks are the enemy. No wonder I was so scared on stepping on the crack as a child. Anyways, after witnessing someone get slaughtered and observing the horrendous electrical work, we gaze upon our beautiful scarred face for the first time. Considering this is the gnarly year of 2008, Edward Carnby was subjected to the curse of the edgy 2000s video game character design, even as the leather jacket. What a true bad man. And if you wanted to see Edward in his full edgy glory throughout the game, you can, because it features not only a first-person view, but a third-person view as well, switching between the two with ease. But I truly feel like this game was made with third-person in mind the most, considering half the game you're going to be dangling from a rope. We hop on a nearby elevator, conveniently containing the other dudes from earlier, and listen in. Turns out the old dude is called Paddington. And we learn about the exact intentions of the evil bald dude, which is to use that stone with the game's loading screen logo on it for something evil or whatever, I don't know. But then out of nowhere, the cracks start spawning in again, bringing out the goon's beautiful vocal cords. The elevator shuts down and it quickly turns into chaos, with the bald dude shooting everywhere, the goon getting unalived by the crack, and the animators showcasing some of the best facial animations of 2008. Paddington tells us to save ourselves, jumping off the elevator just in time, leading them to fall to their deaths. Now I'm joking, it's just the start of the game, leading us to the first rope section, where I clearly couldn't follow the simple instructions of pressing X to jump. I mean, how the f can I even see that tiny controller? Did the devs want me to pull out a magnifying glass or something? Anyways, after some riveting elevator shaft climbing, we jump into an opening, overhearing a couple argue about the political state of the world right now. Every pathway collapses, forcing us to open up a door, being greeted with a woman in a red dress. She explains that someone is trapped in the room next door and that we have to help them. She must have clocked that we're the main character or something.
Just relax and we'll find a way out.
We head into another room where we learn how to move furniture. Yeah, so you can literally pick up practically anything in this game, from chairs to lampshades to picture frames to your mum's spare vibrator. So we move a table out the way and are faced with a fiery problem. But don't worry, it's Alone in the Dark 08, so we pick up a nearby fire extinguisher and extinguish the flames. Apart from being a Bully Maguire wannabe, Edward is a part-time firefighter.
Stop that.
finally rescuing the random NPC. We break down the door with a fire extinguisher very slowly. Just to warn you, they throw a couple of doors like this in the game, and yeah, they take as long, if not longer, to break down. I don't know who thought this was a fun mechanic. After that insane arm workout, we extinguish more fires and jump across a fiery pit in the most intense cutscene I've ever seen. Wow, so shit. We make a quick turn and see the random NPC get nerfed, but also being separated from the lady in the red dress. Kinda reminds me of my real life, but in my case, the lady wouldn't even exist. Fortunately, there's a nearby body with a gun, so we pick up the strap, unlocking the inventory system. This is probably one of the most cool and most frustrating mechanics in this entire game, with the inventory being in real time, searching through your inside jacket pockets like you're selling bootleg DVDs on the street corner. I'll talk more about the inventory later, so don't you worry, because I've got quite a few things to say about it. We then learn the fundamentals of shooting, which always throws you back into first person mode, because of course you can't shoot a gun in third person. Like, what kind of game allows you to do that? Oh yeah, before I forget to mention, the frame rate in this game is choppy at best, and the screen tearing, yeah, that never stops. So before you flame me in the comments for having doggy doo-doo quality gameplay, it isn't my fault. Well, I mean, it is because I chose the 360 version, but it isn't my fault. We shoot down a door and get grabbed by the crack, but it easily gets taken out by a random piece of wood that's on fire. By the way, fire is a core part of this game, so we'll be seeing a lot of it. Considering we nearly got served as a Happy Meal to the crack, we've been injured, so how do you treat injuries?
A Snickers bar?
No! Medical sprays, of course! Unlocking the healing mode where you spray your wounds on whichever part of the body is damaged. I can't lie, this is probably one of my favorite mechanics in this game. Like, I can't recall any other game having something like this, but if there is, then feel free to lecture me in the comments. So now we're fully healed up from spraying some Lynx Africa around, the building starts to collapse, and well, that was insanely sad to watch. The building starts to collapse and we jump across and witness a guy getting blown up, causing us to fall out of the building, but we luckily grab a gargoyle just in time, getting a nice drone shot of Central Park, which is where we're going to be spending the majority of this game.
Alone in the dark, brought to you by this guy.
Now outside, we meet up with another NPC that is a really important part to the story. So after witnessing that brutal fall and nearly getting unalived by a flying car, we put our climbing skills to use and climb across the building, coming across some of my mates. Yeah, my mates are rats, because I have no human friends. And arrive at a room starting our first puzzle of the game. Yeah, if you thought this game was only about cracks, med sprays, and climbing, you were wrong. The puzzles in this game make good use of its janky but hilarious physics, which can be both annoying and tedious, but to be honest, I actually had fun with them, believe it or not, except for two of them, but we'll get to that later. After solving one of the easiest puzzles in a video game ever, we spray down some fires and head outside for some more climbing, meeting up with that red dress lady again. But as we climb up, oh no, the wire is ripping off the wall. It makes no difference whatsoever because we make it anyway, coming face to face with the hoods. Unfortunately, we get separated around 5 seconds later.
Get me out of here, I beg you!
And she gets taken away by the crack. Rest in peace, red dress lady. After taking out my anger with a monitor, we climb up and find another survivor.
Are you okay?
Do I look okay? Considering it's dark AF, we pick up a chair and set it on fire, using it as a chair torch device, despite it literally giving us third-degree burns. Like I said before, fire is a main component in this game, and in my opinion, it uses it insanely well, especially with being able to set fire to the furniture and using it to your advantage. Thumbs up from me. We light our way across, and it turns out the red dress lady is okay. I mean, I'd still crack. She takes out the survivor, and it turns out she's possessed or something, ending episode 1. So yeah, the creators of this reboot decided to make it into a TV show style game, I guess, with the game being split into episodes and even having those previously on parts playing every time you load the game back up.
What are you talking about?
I absolutely adore the dialogue in this game, man. She politely asked for the stone back, but I really don't know why everyone is obsessed with the trampy stone, but I guess we'll find out soon enough.
I don't have your stone, and you anyway.
Forcing us into an all-out brawl where we beat the ever-living shit out of her with a frying pan. On the surface, the combat may look fun, but trust me, it's god-awful. Like, you have to hit by flicking the right stick around, which is just janky as hell, and it gets pretty tiring after a while. I just don't get what's wrong with the good old spamming X routine. I think Alone in the Dark 08 is one of those cases of just being different to be different, and just to make the combat 10 times more annoying, fitting with the theme of fire, once you take out an enemy, it doesn't just die, no, you have to burn the body every single time. Otherwise, they just get back up like nothing ever happened. happened. I guess it's innovative, right? Anyways, after taking out our first enemy of the game, we climb up and break down the door to the elevator shaft and hop in the elevator.
Christ, it's about time. What the hell's going on?
I don't even know you. This gorgeous young lady is Sarah, the yin to my yang, and probably could have been the main protagonist of this game.
You're not a cop, are you?
Yeah, because cops are known to be wearing leather jackets and have a whole ass gash in the middle of their chest.
Edward was, you know, he's Brad Pitt. He's the star. So you know, you can't mess with the star.
She starts shouting like a complete maniac, which of course alerts the nearby crackheads.
What are those things?
Rescue squad, apparently.
They break down the elevator, and it looks like the bald man didn't get very far. So with our upper body strength, we open the elevator doors and... I kind of forgot I was playing a horror game for a second. With no other way out, we boost Sarah up and follow after her, dropping down into another elevator where we find a flashlight. What's a survival horror game without a flashlight? But of course, the flashlight can run out, so we always have to be on the lookout for batteries, because people just leave them lying around for some reason, because that's how real life works. Unfortunately, we need power to open up the next door, but out of nowhere, we get introduced to a new enemy type. The head crabs from Half-Life, or at least a rip-off version. I can't lie, these have to be the most annoying little pieces of shit in this entire game. But either way, we quickly exterminate them from planet Earth and find an electric box, using the wires to bring power back to the building. Oh yeah, by the way, this wire minigame is used a lot, especially when it comes to starting up cars. As the lights turn on, it spawns in a crackhead because they're known to hibernate in the dark and come out into the bright light. Trust me, I watched the Nature Channel. We quickly dispose of the local crackhead and attempt to open up a door with a keypad, using every possible combination known to man, till we finally open up the door. I don't know why they couldn't have just thrown a note down or something, telling us the exact code instead of making me spam every combination, but Alone in the Dark isn't your average game, boys. We head downstairs and... Why is every single cutscene so comical? Like, I love it so much.
Then I suppose you're the answer man, head.
Top tier voice acting, forcing us into another fight where we do the exact same thing again, but this time use the blinking mechanic to clear blood from our eyes. By the way, the blinking mechanic is used multiple times throughout the story, so be prepared to witness some blinking action. Anyways, after taking out the freak, we finally head downstairs into the car park, meeting up with Mr. Paddington.
I'm Theophile Paddington.
He looks pretty banged up, probably from that massive fall from earlier, and he explains that they performed a ritual completely erasing our memory, which is why we have no clue what the hell is even going on. An evil bald dude is called Crowley, but I'm just gonna keep calling him Evil Bald Dude, because it's my video and I don't care.
We're not safe here. Let's go.
Even though Paddington looked like he was dying on the floor, he just gets up like nothing even happened. I have no clue why you were sympathy baiting right there, like what a weirdo. Anyways, we smash a car window, hop inside, hotwire the car, which we're gonna be doing a lot in this game by the way, and make our way out of the car park. Yeah, that's right, there's driving in this game too. I mean, at this point, what doesn't Alone in the Dark 08 have? Some by driving later, we hit an epic jump.
Over this? Let's see.
But unfortunately, the car gets completely destroyed in the process, forcing us to hop out.
We must reach the park.
What is it about the park?
The park is where the gooners reside. How didn't you know that? We then learn how to set trails of gasoline on fire with a lighter, which I used a total of this one time. To be honest, they throw so many controls and mechanics at you so fast that you can't even remember what to do in situations half the time. So I easily forgot the majority of things you can even do. I mean, I probably just have some bad memory or something. We burn a crack and find a brand spanking new taxi to escape in. Wait a second, a Test Drive Unlimited reference? That's kind of cool. Also, this is New York. It's known for having unlimited access to free taxis across the city. I know my stuff, I'm telling you. Luckily, someone left the keys in the car, so we start it up and drive out of the car park and witness some insane video game popping. Absolutely beautiful.
My God.
Paddington then explains that he released something evil from the stone, and that's what's pretty much destroying New York.
What's with this stone?
But then the road starts collapsing, so we step on the gas and engage in one of the coolest set pieces in this game, driving the taxi through the streets of New York like an absolute madman to one of the most epic soundtracks I've ever heard. Like, no joke, the soundtrack is probably the best thing about Alone in the Dark 2008. They genuinely cooked with the music side of things. Unfortunately, I can't play it for you due to copyright, which sucks, I know, but it goes a little something like this. Okay, that was a really bad version. Trust me, it sounds way better than that. Despite the driver feeling like you're driving on an ice rink, we make it to the final jump, landing the car perfectly. Paddington tells us we need to head to the museum, and we get into a little falling out with Sarah.
He's hurt bad and I'm losing my mind.
Out of nowhere, Paddington pulls a gun on us to shut us up and gives us the stone, explaining that we're the only salvation. He then tells us to meet him at the museum in room 943 and puts the strap to his head. Meet you at the museum. You're literally dead, fam.
Why did he do that?
Turns out we're cut up, so we have to stop the bleeding before we join Paddington and have roughly 7 minutes to do so. This isn't just a one-time thing, by the way. If you get damaged enough, you'll always have to find a bandage within 7 minutes to patch yourself up, which of course adds a smidge more tension to the overall gameplay. We overhear an ambulance and boost Sarah up a wall so she can go and get help.
All right, look, just stay here, okay?
Who the hell do you think I am? I ain't waiting around with crackheads on the loose. Paddington's phone starts ringing, so we pick it up and answer it, being greeted with Evil Bald Man's disgusting voice.
I guess those fissures didn't feel like eating a pile of shit like you, huh? Shut up.
He explains that holding on the stone is dangerous or something, but of course, we've got more important matters to get to, which involves calling 911.
Dr. Hartford here.
The doctor explains that any public restroom in the park should contain first aid kits to stop the bleeding, so with his advice, we head there.
A public restroom.
But out of nowhere, another enemy type spawns in, the Bat Things, chasing us all the way to the abandoned restroom. Now inside the restroom, we search around and finally find a bandage, using it to stop the bleeding. Oh yeah, back to the inventory system. You can actually do things like combine tape with medical sprays to make bombs, combine explosive plastic bottles with bullets to make fire bullets, and various other things. The inventory mechanic is a cool concept, to be honest, but insanely tedious to use, especially with it being in real time and switching from third to first person. Anyways, with that out of the way, considering the Bat Things are blocking the way out, we use a tape medical spray to blow open a hole in the wall, allowing us to leave the trampy bathroom, taking us yet to another climbing section. I mean, these parts have to be some of the most enjoyable moments in this game, so I really don't mind. Oh yeah, by the way, you can shoot things whilst you dangle from a rope. I told you, this game has literally everything you can think of. After some climbing, we get to a bus and use some bodies to weigh it down, allowing us to hop out and engage in some fighting with more local crackheads. This is probably my favorite fighting section, considering you can just launch the enemies off the map, endgaming them instantly. With that out of the way, we do some more climbing and get to a dangling car where we switch between the seats. I'll give it to them, this is pretty cool. Finally arriving at the sewers. Yep, this game has a sewer section just like all the greatest video games of our generation. But before we head further into the sewers, we have to get rid of this gross looking cocoon thing, so we easily take it out with a single fire bullet. Screw the cocoon. We then get a call from the Evil Bald Man explaining that he can help us remember who we are, just before the call gets cut off, because of course it did. We're in the freaking sewers. You know what, because I love every single one of you watching this video right now, I'm gonna quickly skip past the sewer section because nobody, and I mean nobody, likes those. And to be honest, nothing really happens anyway apart from some electric puzzles and avoiding some black goo that one-taps you. The black goo. Once outside, we hop in, whatever that is, reaching a dead end where we are forced to jump. So yeah, I practically lost my mind in this section, dying multiple times, and my car even just taking itself out for no apparent reason. Also, screw those two enemies guarding this area, like I hate them with every bone in my body. After that excruciating section, we finally make it across, arriving at the ambulance and meeting up with Sarah and the doctor.
Miss me?
The doctor searches our name on the database whilst he takes a look at our wounds.
Christ.
He patches it up and finds a file on us stating that we're
100 years old.
still looking good for an 100-year-old.
I'm sure there's a perfectly reasonable explanation.
She's clearly into old men because she's getting a bit more touchy than usual. We tell the doctor we're going to the museum, but Sarah insists she comes with because she ain't no damsel in distress.
Around or I'll shoot you myself.
So alongside Miss Sarah, we hop in the car, but then the Bat Things start spawning in, so we are forced to drive at high speeds through Central Park to shake off the Bat Things whilst they literally try to pick up the car. I'm not even joking. Eventually, a tree gets knocked down, and the bats stop picking up the car like we're straight out of Harry Potter and dropping us to our deaths. But luckily, we're just fine and dandy. And if you haven't noticed, it's boss battle time. The Bat Things form a huge annoying boss, and we're forced to make bombs and throw them at the hive multiple times till it's destroyed.
Nice work. How'd you do this?
I just stuck some duct tape on some Lynx Africa and dashed it, darling. Nothing special.
There's something inside me, something dark.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Let's just move on before it gets too weird. Sarah tries to console us, but also disrespects us moments later.
Hey, look on the bright side. You're in great shape for an old man.
Forgive me for not laughing. My dentures would fall out.
What a funny guy. Shut up.
We both feel alone.
Alone in the dark? Get it? You get it? Yeah, I'm not funny either. Then we get a cheeky text message from the evil bald dude.
What the hell hell does that mean?
Sarah uses her detective skills and comes to the conclusion that Lucifer himself is behind all of this mess, and that he's came back to take the stone. So with that new info, we hop in the car and head towards the museum. Check how big this map is, man. After a couple minutes of driving, we arrive just outside the museum, but of course, there's a massive hole between us and the museum. So we use a nearby truck to make a ramp for us to jump across, but out of nowhere, the bat things spawn in again.
Not them again.
And they carry Sarah away to the museum.
I'll come find you!
She's 100% cooked. So with no choice but to push on alone, we jump across and arrive at the museum and make our way inside. After doing a bunch of tedious shit with an elevator.
Edward, I'm inside the museum.
We do some more firefighting action and receive a call. Turns out it's Sarah again, whining like always.
I'm coming.
So after a pit stop at a vending machine containing drink, we make our way through one of the most annoying parts of the game, with the hallways being littered with fire and these massive crackheads. I seriously wanted to throw my Edward figure in the bin whilst playing this part. And again, we come across one of the most bullshit doors ever. Finally, we arrive at a room seeing Sarah engulfed in a disgusting cocoon. So we pick up a fire axe and cut her down, starting a CPR minigame. Yeah, mind's eye wasn't the first to do it. This minigame is pretty simple. Click left and right stick in time with the heartbeat and hold down RT to breathe air into her lungs. Easy peasy. We finally revive her and she talks about being connected to something or whatever, and it spoke to her in the cocoon, but then this happens. He's literally older than your granddad, fam. We then witness a massive beast fly overhead, and we leave Sarah behind to wander off and complete some bullshit puzzles. The puzzles in this part were pretty much impossible to complete, forcing me to skip this entire section of the game with the skip forward mechanic, not once, but twice. Luckily, this is mainly the only frustrating part of the game for me, as I really didn't run into any bugs in my playthrough, other than the occasional environmental glitch or the janky controls screwing me over. But Alone in the Dark 08 did actually get a PS3 version called Alone in the Dark Inferno that came out later than the official release and fixed most of the bugs, but who the f has a PlayStation 3?
I have a PS3.
Oh, shut up! The PS3 version also had an exclusive level where you're on a train and have to fight off a monster, but I'm glad it's only in the PS3 version because that's less wasted hours in this mess of a game. And believe it or not, Alone in the Dark 08 also had a PS2 and Wii version, which ran on a completely different engine, changing a bunch of the mechanics, like how you have to burn the enemies to kill them, altered levels and cutscenes, no open world Central Park whatsoever, and looking like, yeah, that. Anyways, this museum level knocked a few years off my lifespan, but at least you can wield a badass medieval sword, I guess. After skipping, we meet up with a security guard to find room 943.
Everybody died so fast. Bang, just like that.
With the security guard's instructions, we head down an elevator into a room where you already know a boss fight is about to happen. So yeah, we're gonna be fighting that ugly crab thing. This boss fight would have been 10 times easier if I hadn't skipped, because fun fact, if you skip, you lose practically all your items, so I struggle with this fight, and I mean I struggled hard. All you have to do though is hide behind pillars when it does its unblockable attacks, and keep shooting and dashing bombs at it till it's defeated. I definitely made it sound way easier than it was.
Son of a bitch.
Sarah then pulls up to link back with us, and it's time to finally get to room 943.
I've had enough mysteries. Time for some answers.
Unfortunately, the security guard got clapped, and he's the only one with the fingerprints to open the door. So you know what that means. Time for some choppy hand action. We chop it off and use his hand to open up the door leading to a hatch. We open it up and... what the hell even happened? We open it up and climb down into some dungeon area where we take out a few enemies and open one of those god-awful doors again. Finally arriving outside room 943. And just to savor the moment, Owen Man flirts with the lady 80 years younger than him.
You're rather pretty when you're quiet.
I mean, whatever floats your boat. We head inside room 943 and Sarah picks up a nice Instagram flick of us and Paddington back in the 30s. Looking sharp as per usual. But then the room catches on fire and the lights turn off. Clearly someone is here, but who could it be? We close our eyes and oh my god, what is that? When he said he'll meet us at the museum, I didn't think his eyes would be bulging out of his goddamn head like he's cosplaying as Arnold Leach. With the help of Paddington's spirit, we decipher a message from him.
Sarah, I want you to knock him down. Sounds like you're gonna have to kick my ass.
So Sarah, of course, knocks us down. Ew. And we get transported to this heavenly-like state, meeting up with Paddington himself. He talks about how he had to die to meet us here, which makes no sense because he could have just tagged along, and that the stone offered man fortune and eternal life.
They called it the Philosopher's Stone.
He also explains that he is the one that set Lucifer free and that Lucifer really wants that stone, which of course we already knew. We wake back up being greeted with the bulging-eyed freak once again and gain access to a secret room which contains a locked door and a lens that I had to drop my beloved handkerchiefs for. This lens allows us to make an exit, and Sarah realizes she has to build a lock to the door in the secret room. So while she does that, we head to the old castle to find the location of the secret entrance. But it isn't that simple because we're forced into an epic forklift puzzle section. I honestly hate my life. This part is so janky, and the janky mechanics were funny at first, but they just get way more annoying and frustrating as the game goes on. Like, I just wanted the game to end at this point. Anyways, after that totally not fun section, we head outside and get a call from the evil bald dude demanding the stone once again.
Here, let me give you something to think about.
He teases us by shining the helicopter light around and forcing us to stay in the light to not get clapped by the black goo till eventually we give up.
Fine, you win.
Mr. Bold Evil Guy lowers the rope and we climb up to confront him.
Give it to me, please.
We do the little give me answers or I'll drop it shtick, but unfortunately he gives us no clear answers whatsoever other than he hates mankind for some reason. But then out of nowhere the huge flying monster spawns in and chases the helicopter, getting hit by lightning, causing the helicopter to crash. Thank God we don't have to fight that monstrosity. We do some climbing, more climbing, get to a train station full to the brim of crackheads, take them out, witness an NPC getting endgamed, do even more climbing and walk inside the body of the flying beast, all while Sarah is sending text about the lore, which is completely boring and I have no time to read all of that. I have no clue why they couldn't have just shown it through a cutscene or something instead of having me read with my low level reading skill. You probably can tell I'm sick of the game at this point. So now it's time to head to the old castle. But before we can even head to the old castle and find the location of the secret entrance, we have to take out a bunch of the routes scattered across the open world map. Yay!
Well, what we really want the people to feel when playing Alone in the Dark is that this will be the first game that they will be able to really finish.
I don't think you should have thrown in an entire collectathon section if you want people to finish the game. Anyways, you need to do a bunch of the route activities to even progress through the story on the final chapter, requiring 100 spectral points, like bruh. But you only need 50 points to skip the entire section. If you actually sit down and get all the 100 points, it's gonna add on at least 4 hours of gameplay depending on how fast you take out the routes, so it's probably better to just skip it. Cheers Eden Games for your innovative skip system. After all that bollocks, we find the location of the place and head there. Take out some giant monster route, which I never did because I skipped it, and head inside. Welcome to probably the most mundane part despite the whole crappy collectathon section where you just complete a bunch of puzzles. Yeah, this game turned into Tomb Raider in the last part of the game with no combat at all. Maybe they just wanted to switch it up a bit, I don't know. Either way, these puzzles aren't nearly as annoying as the ones from earlier, so it isn't too bad. So after going through the trials of death, we eventually arrive at a room containing a dude called Hermes, the key to the locked door back at room 943. And yeah, he's not the greatest looking dude. Whilst we head back up to the surface, he runs us down with some backstory about how he split the stones, and that we're the GOAT, of course. Blah, 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 more backstory stuff. The lore is not the greatest, I literally don't care.
I think it's time to introduce you to the wonders of the modern automobile.
We finally arrive at the surface and get a call from Sarah explaining she's built the lock, and a countdown has started, so with no time left to lose, we hop in the car and Sarah calls us once again, and we hand the phone to Hermes.
What kind of artifact is this?
She repeats pretty much what she said before about getting there ASAP, so we step on the gas and drive our booties all the way to room 943, whipping across the streets of Central Park, arriving at room 943 just in time. But unfortunately, the bold evil dude got there before us and is holding Sarah hostage.
Shut your mouth before I put another hole in your face.
So with our epic shooting skills, we take out...
Too bad.
So with our epic shooting skills, we take out Mr. Bold Evil Guy once and for all.
I've had enough of your bullshit.
Hermes then speaks his wisdom and we follow him to a secret room and he unlocks the door leading us to the finale. And for some reason, Hermes starts spamming the same phrase over and over again.
You are wasting precious time. 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 You are wasting precious time.
Now we're faced with the door between the mortal world and Lucifer's crib.
You are wasting precious time.
Shut the hell up! We put down our stone, opening up the door to face Lucifer himself, reincarnating Lucifer to take him down, which I have no clue how we could even take on the big man himself, because he's more than just those random crackheads running around. He's literally the devil. Either way, we pick the stone back up and we start tweaking out due to Lucifer possessing our body. But then Sarah grabs it off of us for Lucifer to possess her instead. So now we're faced with a choice. Shoot her or... allowing Lucifer to fully possess our body. And we drop the hardest line in the entire game.
I'm the f***ing universe!
Sending Hermes to his death or hell or something, I guess. I don't know. The end.
Wait, so what happens if we don't shoot her?
Who gives a flying f***? There's never gonna be a sequel anyway, unless you count that weird shooter game as a real sequel, but I don't think anybody played that. Alone in the Dark 2008 is a game full of interesting ideas, but executed poorly with a banging soundtrack to cope with. Overall, I'll rate it 2 out of 5 med sprays. Like and subscribe.
With fists like these, I don't even gotta pack no heat. You can't stop me, son!